Coming up tonight on YCN News, a crash into Grace Cottage Hospital in Townsend, Vermont. New Hampshire's Attorney General takes action on false and misleading online claims. And it was a close one for Sunapee baseball. For more news, weather, and sports, it's time for YCN News, your local view.
Now, your daily digest of the Dartmouth Lake Sunapee region, southern Vermont, and Windsor County. News, sports, weather, and all that is happening in our area. The news on YCN, your local view.
Good evening. It's Tuesday, May 26th. I'm Laura James. Welcome to YCN News. The 87-year-old driver of a car that crashed into Grace Cottage Hospital on Grafton Road in Townsend, Vermont today suffered some back pain, yet is otherwise unhurt, say police. Railings near the hospital's rear parking lot are considered a total loss, however. The building sustained minor cosmetic damage, police report, about the 1:45 p.m. accident. Lois Phoenix of Townsend, Vermont was pulling into a parking spot in the rear of the hospital. As she tried to stop, she pressed the gas pedal instead of the brake pedal. Her 2010 Ford Escape surged forward, struck some metal railings, and crashed into the hospital building. The vehicle sustained moderate damage to the front end, grille, and hood and was towed from the scene. Phoenix was wearing a seatbelt, according to police. An online company in California claiming to be approved by the state of New Hampshire to offer court-ordered anger management classes must cease all activity in the Granite State, says the state attorney general. Attorney General Joseph Foster says the West Coast company Court Ordered Classes Incorporated agreed to discontinue classes with New Hampshire. The company violated New Hampshire's Consumer Protection Act. Court Ordered Classes Incorporated is accused of soliciting New Hampshire residents to enroll in its domestic violence, anger management, and batterers classes under the false representation that these classes were approved and accepted by the state of New Hampshire. State officials learned of the company when a defendant in a court matter paid the company $750 for a class not yet approved by New Hampshire courts. The defendant participated in the course online and then submitted to a New Hampshire Circuit Court verification of his participation. The court would not accept that as fulfilling the court-ordered requirement for counseling. The court made a referral to the Attorney General for an investigation. The defendant in that criminal case received a full refund. To contact the Attorney General's Consumer Information Line, you can see the number on the screen below. And a cross-country pursuit Saturday night ended in the arrest in Walpole, New Hampshire, of a man charged by police with stealing a truck in Black Hawk, Colorado. From the west to the east coast, it took 37-year-old Robert Leibensberger 9 days to make his way eventually to Lebanon, New Hampshire. Lebanon police spotted the Ford truck around 8 p.m. and tried to stop it, knowing it was stolen. Pursuit began with Leibensberger headed to Plainfield, New Hampshire, then to Claremont and into Charlestown. New Hampshire State Police put the spike strips down on the roadway, puncturing one of the truck's tires. The suspect continued driving, stopping near the Arch Bridge in North Walpole. Unable to drive on the damaged tire, police took Leibensberger into custody. He did not resist. His last known address was Clifton Park, New York. Charges facing him include aggravated vehicle theft, criminal mischief, and reckless driving. Coming up on YCN News, Lisa Connell reports on River Valley Community College's graduation in Claremont and a win for Sunapee baseball. Mike Pizzone will have a full look at local sports, plus a check of the Twin State forecast when YCN News returns.
The YCN News continues in a moment.
Welcome back to YCN News. I'm Laura James. Friday night in Claremont belonged to River Valley Community College. YCN's Lisa Connell has the story.
When Valley Regional Hospital CEO Peter Wright asked the graduates to move forward in their seats so that each person was sitting on the edge of the respective chair, no one in the audience knew why. Yet River Valley Community College's class of 2015 obeyed, and guest speaker Wright began his commencement address. At Friday night's ceremony, the 47th for the Claremont-based school, diplomas, degrees, and certificates were awarded to 220 graduates. This year's class is comprised of working moms, first-generation college students, older adults, and younger students. Indeed, the student body reflects the different pathways and backgrounds from which RVCC's graduates and students come. Wright gave the black gown and capped graduates before him the same type of guidance that may have propelled them to learn beyond high school. Believe in yourself to achieve your dreams. Define your values. Never, ever let anyone tell you you cannot achieve something. The world owes you nothing. Be prepared to earn your way. Wright's introduction of himself Friday night and his own personal and professional pathways mirror the advice he wanted to share with graduates, school staff, and guests. In the end, he succeeded, getting a laugh out of the graduates too, one of his first pieces of advice to the class. "I've come to appreciate the power of laughter. It's good for you," Wright said earlier that night. Just as the graduates succeeded in their educational goals, for the moment, Wright succeeded too. "When you're asked about my speech," he said to the students, "tell them it was a thoughtful, passionate, and encouraging commencement address that had us on the edge of our seats." By 7:50 p.m., all of the diplomas had been handed out. The ceremony was near its end. A benediction and reception capped the evening for graduates and their families. For YCN News, I'm Lisa Cornell.
Good luck to all graduates and congratulations to their families too. Now also during Friday night's graduation ceremony, the college honored two people in an inaugural presentation of the President's Envisioning the Future Leadership Award. Lori Clute, a 28-year employee of River Valley Community College and physical therapist professor, and businessman Harvey Hill, who also served 2 terms as the college's interim president. Coming up next on YCN News, we take you to the beautiful Eastman Community Center in Eastman, New Hampshire, of course. YCN's Elizabeth Durazio has that interview when we continue.
The YCN News continues in a moment.
Welcome back to YCN News. I'm Mike Pizzone. Well, it turned into a pretty nice Memorial Day weekend, and it looks like we're in for some nice warm temperatures this week as well. Skies will remain mostly cloudy as we head into the evening, with calming winds and temperatures bottoming out at about 63 degrees. Things will warm right back up tomorrow with a high of 84 degrees, though there's a 40% chance we could see some heavy rain and thunderstorms afternoon. There's a 50% chance those storms will continue into the evening, with a low of 66 degrees and wind gusts of up to 10 miles per hour. Thursday will be very similar to tomorrow, with a high of 82 degrees and a 50% chance of heavy rain and thunderstorms throughout the afternoon. Storms will subside after sunset with a low of 62 degrees. Now let's take a look at our community calendar to see what's happening in the area. A bingo night will be held tonight at 6:30 p.m. at the Charlestown VFW Post Hall on Lovers Lane Road in Charlestown, New Hampshire. The event is the primary fundraiser for scholarships and various community donations. The American Red Cross will hold a blood drive on Thursday from noon to 5:30 p.m. at the Masonic Temple on Westminster Street in Bellows Falls, Vermont. Walk-ins are welcome, or make an appointment at redcrossblood.org. The Claremont Farmers Market will be held Thursday from 4 to 7 p.m. at the Broad Street Park in Claremont, New Hampshire. The event will be held rain or shine and feature local fruits, vegetables, meats, and live music. When the Sunapee baseball team met Wilton Lyreborough in its regular season debut back in April, the Lakers escaped with a narrow 11-10 victory. And though Friday's rematch wasn't nearly as high scoring, once again it was Sunapee who left celebrating another one-run win.
The Lakers trailed 2-0 heading into the home half of the third inning, but crossed the plate 3 times in the frame to turn their deficit into a 1-run lead. Will Austin picked up the team's first RBI when his walk with the bases loaded plated Kira Lucas, before this grounder off the bat of Cade Robinson allowed Mike Platt and Ben Robinson to score. Sunapee added its 4th run of the game in the bottom of the 5th when Cole Cruz scored after a misplayed double steal, but the visiting team knotted things up at 4-4 in the next half inning on a 2-run single. Luckily for coach Tom Frederick, however, his Lakers weren't done hitting yet, as a leadoff single in the bottom of the 7th by Platt and an intentional walk to Ben Robinson set up a walk-off single from Cruz. Will Austin allowed 3 runs and struck out 8 in 4 1/3 innings of work, while Ben Robinson picked up the win in relief with 2 strikeouts. I spoke with Cruz after the game, who acknowledged it was somewhat motivating when the Warriors walked a hitter to get to him.
That's definitely amping up the want to score and drive in that winning run. So, well, I think we've come a long way since the beginning of the season. We've definitely started hitting more in the bottom of the order, and I think just keeping a steady flow of everyone working hard in practice and all coming together as a team is going to be beneficial to us.
I also spoke with Sunapee coach Tom Frederick, who credited his team's defense and success at the plate for getting the job done on a day when its pitching struggled.
We're happy that we came away with a W. I thought our defense was actually really good today. Our pitching just had, a few too many walks. We didn't hit our spots as much as we were capable of, and it's a tournament type game. It's a good team that we played, and they got a number of decent hitters, and they fielded the ball well, and I was just happy that the guys were able to come back in that last inning and get the job done.
The Lakers improved to 11-3 with their 5th straight win, and will wrap up its regular season schedule with a pair of home games against Epping today and Hinsdale on Thursday.
Spencer Corona surrendered just one unearned run on a pair of hits yesterday to lift the Newport baseball team to a hard-fought win over Mascoma. Coronas pitched all 7 innings for the Tigers, finishing with 6 strikeouts. Brady Bates led the offense with a pair of RBI, while Dylan McNamara and Dawson Campbell also drove in a run. Newport improved to 9-6 and will round out its regular season schedule at home Thursday against Kearsarge. The Newport softball team also swung its way past Mascoma yesterday, led by a complete game 9-strikeout effort from Stephanie Carl. Carl and Katrina Batista led the offense with 3 hits apiece, while Emma Carroll, Kendall Hamilton, Mariah Chase, Kristen Kibbe, and Haley Perry each finished with 2. The Tigers improved to 11-4 with their 4th straight win, and will host Kearsarge in its regular season finale on Thursday. That does it for YCN Sports. I'm Mike Pizzone.
Thanks so much, Mike. We're going to have part 1 of a conversation. John O'Connor is here, YCN's Capital Connections, John O'Connor, of course, and he's speaking with Representative Ray Gagnon, Sullivan County District 5. That interview is coming up when YCN News continues.
The YCN News continues in a moment.